Chapter 4. Democritus was a philosopher who thought that all matter was made up of tiny, tiny particles that he called atoms, from the Greek word atomos, which means indivisible. Aristotle disagreed. He thought that there wasn't a limit to how many times material could be divided. Dalton was a schoolteacher from England who found evidence for the existence of atoms. He measured the masses of elements that combined when compounds formed. He noticed that all of the compounds had something in common. The ratio of the masses of the elements was, and is, always the same. Dalton proposed a theory that all matter is made up of individual particles called atoms, which cannot be divided. Thomson conducted experiments and found out that atoms had negative and positive subatomic particles in them. Thomson's model had negatively charged particles evenly spaced throughout and a positively charged mass at the center. It's called the plum pudding model, but is often referred to as the chocolate chip ice cream model. Rutherford conducted an experiment where he shot a beam of highly concentrated particles at a piece of very, very thin gold foil, while placing a screen around the entire experiment. He found that instead of going all the way straight through, some particles were deflected. This brought him to the conclusion that there was something very small and dense within the atoms. Therefore, Rutherford's model had a nucleus at the center, saying that the positively charged particles were found there. He made a huge discovery. He had found electrons, protons, and neutrons inside of atoms. A proton is a positively charged particle that is located at the center of the nucleus. They have a charge of +1. Neutrons are also found in a nucleus. However, they have neither a positive or a negative charge. In 1932, James Chadwick confirmed the existence of neutrons. Protons and neutrons are about the same size. The difference is so small that we don't count it. Electrons, though, are much smaller. Here's a proton versus an electron. Electrons are negatively charged particles. They have a charge of -1, and they are found in the electron cloud, which is the most likely location of electrons in an atom. The electron cloud surrounds the nucleus, but is not part of it. Atoms with certain numbers of electrons and protons are called elements. Elements are organized into a periodic table, which I will go further into in the next video. Oh, and by the way, because atoms have the same number of protons as electrons, they have a balanced charge of 0. The elements of the periodic table are organized based on how many protons and neutrons they contain. The number of protons an element has is its atomic number. The mass number, or the atomic mass, is the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So to find the number of neutrons, you take the mass total and subtract the atomic number. Isotopes are atoms of the same element that have different numbers of neutrons and therefore different masses. Niels Bohr made a model of an atom that was special because it included energy levels, which are the possible energies that electrons can have. An electron can change energy levels when the atom gains or loses energy. An electron in the highest energy level orbital is called a valence electron. In the next chapter, we will go over the periodic table.